your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one
it's harsh,
serving you.
It's true, but it's harsh with regard to these guys getting ready for the season and all that kind of stuff. They're professional athletes. They have a professional structure. I mean, and Coach Mcuire, he talked about that a little bit yesterday in terms of how they run their organization like a pro organization, and not necessarily like he did refer. He goes our culture is kind of what we did at Cedar Hill and what he did at Cedar Hill, and he uses that as a base, and then his coaches that come in that haven't been with him previously, and their experiences and their culture and what they bring into it. So it's not just totally him, but I mean he's the director of the band, so to speak, and he's got to set the tone. But he said the culture is based on what they did at Cedar Hill and the experiences of the coaches coming in. He said this is his 10th year in college football, and so you have to adapt to change. And the biggest thing that they did when he came in is him bringing James Blanchard with him.
Yes,
and
a huge thing. And
establishing a personnel department and a general manager.
Yep. And
that personnel department, they're in charge of going and finding these guys and going and bringing them to them. And so it used to be the head coach and his assistants did all the recruiting. They did the scouring. They did, and I'm not saying that they don't still do that and don't still go to the high schools and have those relationships with the guys, or whether it's because sometimes the guys you're recruiting today that you don't get, you might get them 2 years later because you've developed a relationship with them and you have a bit of a past with them. But he also said the other thing is that he doesn't do any of the contract negotiating. He doesn't do any of the money negotiating. He leaves that all up to James Blanchard and his staff. And he said it helps keep the purity of coach-player.
Yep.
And so basically that allows him, I think that really allows him the freedom to, I don't know how much you're making. He does.
Yeah.
But because he's not negotiated that, but it allows him to coach them like he wants to coach them.
Absolutely. And he brought up a point, Chuck, when he said that Coach Blanchard is a black and white type guy. His formula is based on what he sees success as far as the financial parts of it. But Coach Mcuire said he wouldn't let the emotions get into it too much, and that's why he leaves it up to, I think, Quentin Jordan and James Blanchard,
and then Antonio Huffman.
Yeah, Antonio Huffman. But I think you alluded to a point that I think is extremely important, and there's no more important than it is today in the organization, and that is he's had very little coaching turnover. He's got a staff that's been with him. He's got 2 coordinators, and when you go out and you're instructing people and you don't have to spend time teaching the coaches before you teach the players, that puts you ahead of the ball game a lot. And I think it's very fortunate for Tech's program that for the most part he's had nearly every coach since he started, and they've been together quite a long time. He's added a couple here and there, but his main group is there, and that puts them to a point where they can teach execution of what they want to instead of teaching the teachers.
Well, and for Shield Wood, this is his first time since the 2021 season that he's been at the same school back-to-back years. So, I mean, and so you look at where he's been. Well, he was at Georgia Tech in 2018, Georgia State in 2019, Then he went to Army, and he said, the last time I was back-to-back was United States Military Academy, Army. Then he went to Troy as a defensive coordinator. He went to Tulane as a defensive coordinator, went to Houston as a defensive coordinator, of course, because he was with Willie Fritz,
right?
At Tulane, and then left when he left to go to Houston. And then now he's here in back-to-back years. And he cited some of his coaches of staying with him and having opportunities. One of his coaches had an opportunity to go be a defensive coordinator at a couple of different places, but stayed here. So, and that trickles down to the players, too.
It does.
So that you don't have a different system to have to learn every single year. And, that's the advantage that Will Hammond's going to have, is being under that same offense, basically. I mean, they're going to make some adjustments under Mac Leftwich.
And you talked about it earlier. Picture this scenario this morning at 9:05, I think Coach Mcuire said they get started. There's coaches going to be out there just coaching away. I mean, teaching and coaching and their positions, their teams when they come together for 11-on-11 or whatever. But now you have a completely different coaching staff in the building doing all that recruiting and doing all the prep work, doing all the portal work, that if you didn't have that kind of organization, your coaches would have to do that as soon as they came in off the field, and because they cannot can't get up and leave practice and do justice to both places. So
go make phone calls.
That's right.
I'm sure that they have some of that.
Yep.
Coach Mcuire did say that when they had their team meeting, he said we do have a curfew for our guys, and so part of their message is here's the rules of the camp, right?
I thought it was funny. He said, I've got some young coaches that they've got a little path that they take on the way home.
Yes. We've got some young coaches. They've got stops to make.
Doors to knock.
Make sure everybody's where they're supposed to be, And my guess is you might have one of those opportunities if you're not there to right your ship, but I mean, at this,
it better be the last one.
In this day and time, we don't have time to mess around. With problem childs.
Yeah,
right.
That's true.
We got a Big 12 championship to win here. We're not going to screw around with you, buddy boy.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Time for this day in sports history. Today is August the 5th, 2026. Here's Jeff Mcuire with this day in sports history.
1936. American athlete Jessie Owens wins the 200-meter in the world record time of 20.7 seconds. His third gold medal of the Berlin Olympics.
Yeah.
This should just be Jessie Owens week.
Yeah, he's on a roll, right?
1963.
What was his time? 20 what?
20.7.
Okay.
1963. Craig Breedlove sets a world land speed record of 407.45 miles an hour, or just slightly slower than Chuck Heinz's Pinewood Derby car.
That's right.
In the spirit of America at Bonneville Salt Flats in Utah.
You would see.
You have to remember that this car was rocket powered, while Chuck's was just gravity.
Right.
So we are all trailing in behind.
You have to remember in those days. That was, the Salt Flats.
It still is.
And I know, but those were the kinds of things you'd see on like Wide World of Sports and stuff like that. And, and you'd have the Blue Flame or whatever it was. Remember the Blue Flame? I think that was a Craig Breedlove car. And those things would just kind of.
I am surprised ESPN hasn't done or somebody hasn't done a reality show about the guys that do the Salt Flat stuff. Because it still goes on today. Mm-hmm. It's just not as publicized as it was.
Yeah.
And they are just as much characters now as they were then.
Just so you know, the world record right now for the 200 meters is held by Usain Bolt, and it's 19.19 seconds. So you think about what Jessie Owens did. And it's no longer in the top 25 for performances, but 20.7, okay?
Yeah.
So it's It's less than a second.
Check that math.
Oh, second, 1.08. Sorry, 1.08. But still, 1.08 seconds. The difference between when that
It's almost
record
2 seconds.
Yeah, it's almost. Yeah.
So my
point is,
yes.
but my point is that, and his record, Usain Bolt's record, was set in 2009.
In 1936.
36.
Yeah, 1936.
That's pretty fast.
Right.
And his was on more than likely
Cinder.
or dirt.
Yeah.
Or grass. I don't know. I don't know.
I think it was dirt.
Yeah, I don't think cinder was around.
1973, Atlanta Braves pitcher Phil Niekro no-hits the San Diego Padres 9-0, achieving the first no-hitter for the franchise in Atlanta. In 86, Giants left-handed pitcher Steve Carlton becomes the second player to reach 4,000 strikeouts when he strikes out center fielder Eric Davis in an 11-5 loss to the Reds. And in 2014, in a Marlins 6-3 win over the Pirates, former Red Raider A.J. Ramos gets the 5th win of the year in relief after getting 2 of the 3 batters out that he faced in the 7th inning. It is National Oysters Day.
I'm completely out. Craig, you an oyster guy?
I'm out. I'm not an oyster guy.
Jeff?
They're okay. They're not what I go for, but if I'm offered, I will enjoy.
Okay.
Huge, enormous, iceberg-esque birthday.
Okay.
Former Red Raider basketball player. Former Red Raider basketball coach.
Oh, okay.
Former Red Raider athletic director.
I was going to bring
and
this
now
up
athletic
later.
director emeritus Gerald Myers is 90.
90.
Had lunch with him yesterday.
How's he doing?
Absolutely great. I tell you, he's sharp as a tack. We spent 20 minutes talking about old Arkansas Eddie Sutton days and coaching against him and some of those great players he had, and Tony Benford and Bubba Jennings, and talked about getting thrown out of the game one time. And and what started it all off was somebody referenced his getting out of his jacket pretty quick during the game.
Yeah, but he had that.
It was hot. That's all. It was just hot.
He had that propensity. Yeah.
Yeah, he said he didn't throw it. He just he got it down to an arc to where it just kind of fell off.
Sure, right. That's right.
Patrick Ewing is 64, Anthony Edwards 25, Otis Thorpe 64, Carl Crawford 45, John Olerud 58, and Kevin Ogletree is 39. And on this day, 1926, master illusionist Harry Houdini shocks reporters in the Shelton Hotel in New York City when he climbs into an airtight metal casket and is lowered into a swimming pool. With only a limited air supply, the escape artist remained submerged for a record-breaking 91 minutes.
Yeah.
And that is this day's sports history.
Yeah, I would have. I'd have no desire for any of that.
No.
No desire for any of that. 6:51 this morning here on the Morning Drive. I saw this yesterday, and if you're probably 55 plus, probably 60 plus, this will be a familiar name to you. But Dory Funk Jr. died yesterday, age of 85. He was a wrestler, along with his dad, Dory Funk Sr., and his brother, Terry Funk.
You know where they grew up?
They're in Amarillo.
Umbarger, Texas.
Umbarger.
Right
okay.
outside of Amarillo.
Okay.
And Canyon. But you're right. You're exactly right.
You know, I just remember, like, back in the day, they would come through, especially Dory Funk Jr. and Terry Funk. They would come through Kansas City, and they would be in the wrestling at that point in time. The Kansas City area was the National Wrestling Alliance. Okay, and they had a guy by the name of Bill Kirkston. He was the ring announcer. Okay, and his deal was, "Hello, wrestling fans, are you ready? And you would have Handsome Harley Race and, Bulldog Bob Brown and, and then from Amarillo, Texas, Rufus R. Jones. Okay. And these guys, there was a circuit, and they came through Lubbock, and they came through, Amarillo, obviously. But I just remember when it was Dory Funk and Terry Funk, they were like the nastiest, meanest.
They were the bad guys.
I mean, they were. they would take the eye bolt, out of the ring, and plug it into somebody's face, and then they'd have the cage match, and you'd have the Black Angus, and you'd have, every once in a while, then Andre the Giant got into that. But I remember when I forget where I was. I was in a small town, and Bulldog Bob Brown was coming through, and he was, and none of those guys, were in today's world bastions of health. I mean, they beat each other up, and then they would have they'd have the folding chair, and then of course you had Danny Little Bear, and you'd have these guys come out. They'd be in some kind of tag team deal, and then somebody would come running out of the locker room, and jump into the ring. And this is wrestling before it really got sexed up with all the Ric Flair and those guys.
And Lubbock was on that circuit.
Absolutely, it was. And it was fairgrounds. They'd be out at the fairgrounds.
And they had, I'm sure, several from Lubbock or claimed Lubbock, but Rapid Ricky Romero.
I remember Rapid Ricky Romero.
Mm-hmm. He was the one everybody was pulling for from Lubbock.
Right. And they had this guy. He was the manager. His name was Percival A. Friend. Okay, and Percival A. Friend would have he'd have a coat and tie on, or a bow tie, and he'd have a briefcase, and then every once in a while Percival A. Friend would climb into the ring and he'd hit somebody over the head with their with his briefcase, and of course they would act like they were unconscious and be twirling around. Oh yeah. But Dory Funk, dead at 85.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
7:15 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Take your thoughts, comments, Yates Flooring Center chat line. Somebody off the chat line asked if the new Double T logo looked good. I mean, it's like the original Double T, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, it looks great. I took a picture of it and posted it on the Yates Flooring Center chat line, so you can go to the Double T 97.3 mobile app presented by Happy State Bank and check it out. And there's also one in the south end zone too. Okay, so where the grass was, and years ago they replaced the grass with artificial surface, which makes sense because
and seats
and some seats, right? Yeah, and some seats. Added some seats in there.
And also they're not going to abandon the other Double T, the 3D Double T. They're just not going to use it as often.
Yeah, I think the official one for athletics is the flat, and then the university is going to use the beveled. Right. And who knows? We may have a throwback. I mean, at some point in time. But hey, it's a Double T.
That's right. That's right.
Don't worry about it.
It's still red and black.
It's if that's our biggest problem, then man, we're in great shape.
Yep.
We're in great shape. So they're working on putting logos on the field, and there's I thought the Monster Big 12 logo, I thought it looked fine. Didn't. And look, this is what I do for a living. I sell sponsorships, so it's far be it for me to be critical of anything.
Well, and they didn't create another logo. It's been morphed in part of the Big 12 logo.
And I like I said,
which is already on your uniforms anyway.
Right, and so I think it looks fine. And then there's a progressive, which I feel like my wife thinks I'm becoming a walking progressive commercial, and I have to stop myself from time to time because.
You don't want to do things like
well, no. I mean, I've become. I feel like I interject myself into conversations that I don't need to be interjecting into. Yeah. Offering advice to people that that either A, don't want it, B, didn't solicit it, and C, while they need it, they don't necessarily need it from me. And so. But,
there was an old show on television called Punky Brewster, and one day her dad was sitting there and he was giving her the how to do this and that, and he was pointing that finger at her like this. And he stopped and he looked at that finger and he said, "When did I grow my mom and dad's finger?"
Oh, my God, yeah. So Sooner in Lubbock asked this, and we talked about this a little bit earlier this morning, but folks float in and float out, and you have your 10 to 15-minute drive in. The biggest takeaway from Media Day yesterday for me is just, again, how deep this team is in all facets, offensively, defensively, special teams, kind of name the position group. I mean, you even have, a couple of extra kickers that are going to help with kickoffs this year, so that Harrington doesn't get a tired leg towards the end of the season. So you're going to see that as well. So that's the biggest takeaway.
One of the things I saw, and Chuck, is in listening to Coach McGuire in your interview, in his press conference interview, and so forth, I think people don't understand how good, how good a coach he is from the standpoint of, sure, he's a great motivator, he's a great cultural builder, and I think that's probably his forte. But you listen to him and you read between the lines, that guy's a good football coach. I mean, he knows. He's got that football down. I mean, he knows he knows what he's looking for in players.
Sure, appreciate that.
He knows what he's looking for in players, and I think he doesn't get near enough credit for his X's and O's that he probably deserves.
Probably not. Here's a couple other things from Coach Joey Mcuire, and I was curious as to how he feels about him, because I think he could have a massive year for you, and you hope that he does, and it'd be quite a turnaround for him. But here's Coach McGuire on his wide receiver, Micah Hudson.
Well, I walked off the field our second to last football school and maybe it was our last, but with Micah. And I put my arm around him, and I was like, man, I just want you to take a deep breath and enjoy all this and not overthink anything that's going on. Because, year one, I put way too much expectations on him. He put way too much expectations on himself. He didn't go through spring. He was injured. Then he's banged up in the season. Just a lot of stuff went on. And then last year, man, I thought he did a great job. He came in, he was humble, he was quiet, he worked. Really gained a lot of respect. And what I told him, I said, man, you're our starting outside receiver. Just go get ready to play football. Don't think other than anything about that. You're not out here trying to prove anything or trying to make the team or you are our starter. So just go out there and get ready to play Abilene Christian.
And I think sometimes people need to hear that, right?
Oh, absolutely, especially in Micah Hudson's case. Yeah. Because you get stuck on what you heard when he first got here, and it was not all positive. Yeah. But if I heard it once, I heard it 2 or 3 times of the leadership in the receiver room that he is showing, and the leadership that he has shown out on the practice field this summer when they go by themselves without coaches or anything. And I think maturity is a great word to put with Micah Hudson right now.
We have a lot of things up for you to review and look back at from yesterday. Go to doubleTSportsNetwork.com. You'll see the interview with Coach Joey McGuire, Amir Boyd, the coordinators, Sheil Wood and Mac Leftwich, among others. So when you have a chance, and then Choice Woodman did 21, I think, 2-minute drills at least, maybe more. So those will be released as well. So as we're kind of going through this, so there's a lot of content. Just go to doubleTSportsNetwork.com and you'll be able to peruse that. Not on our time. On your time and your leisure. But if it has to be on our time because you want to hear something that somebody had to say, then go for it. One last thing right now from Coach Joey McGuire, and this is a guy that we're all anxious to see on the field in a game, and that's Quentin Joyner. And here's the coach on his running back who was out last year.
Man, I'm so excited, because I mean that. So CJIU, whenever everything was going on with Brendan, he sent me, Kenny, and Garrett a text, and he had an edit of our running back room, and it was like thunder, lightning, and bolt, and he said, he said, sleep well tonight, boys. These 3 guys are on your team. The average Red Raider fan doesn't understand that y'all probably don't need to even throw the ball to win games, just because those guys are so special. Of course, it was a joke when it comes to that, but, we're really fortunate. I mean, our running back room, there's very few in the country that can compare with those 3. They're all 3 different. They all 3 have different personalities. I'm really excited for, Red Raider Nation to see Q. He's very smooth, but he's also extremely physical. He's going to play somewhere between 215 and 220 pounds. And he's got great hands out of the backfield, so all 3 of them catch the ball well. But he's got a very fluid motion. He's very smooth when he runs the football.
It just gives you a different dynamic.
You used the word smooth twice at a running back.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see him.
Yeah, smooth. Right.
Yeah, because you got a smooth running back. That means he's evading tackles. He's getting someplace real quick, and pretty exciting when he does get there.
Yeah. Yeah, no question. He feels great about his offensive line. I mean, they're big across the front. And the one thing that he wants to see out of them, probably more than anything else, especially Howard Sampson, is consistency.
And he also mentioned a big plus is the depth in the offensive line this year. That this is probably the first year they've had as much as they've got right now.
Well, we're anxious to see it.
Yep, absolutely we are.
And no pre-snap penalties, please. Can we stop that? That'd be awesome.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3. Presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3, presented today by someone not named Jamie, is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
Dare I say, there are no wrong answers for this question.
I mean, Craig's
that has ended poorly more times than it has not on this show.
No question.
But
Craig's a really good listener.
I can't fathom a wrong answer for this question.
Okay.
You hadn't heard mine yet.
Craig, Chuck, our fine listening audience, we have had Big 12 media days. Mm-hmm. We've had tech media days. Mm-hmm. First practice, I think, started 30 minutes ago. I could be wrong on that,
no,
but it's today.
It's. I mean, they're underway. Morning. Yeah.
For your personal checkpoints for football season, what's next? Is it the first time we hear from Coach after a practice? Is it 2 weeks before when they actually start doing game prep? Is it when you first get your cooker out of the and get it cleaned up and ready to go for tailgating? What is your personal next check mark or checkpoint for football season?
Well, for me, I mean, it's the Red Raider Club luncheon. I mean, that's August the 20th. I mean, that's there's a lot of pomp and circumstance, and people are fired up and they're ready to go, and get the band, and the Lubbock Truck Sales bring over the trucks, and they'll be all shiny, and they'll have a new kind of look on them, and there'll be probably a Big 12 championship trophy on the side of it somewhere, or on the back maybe, and there'll be a lot of the band, and just the palm and the cheer and the players, and Coach Mcuire will get everybody fired up. So that's the Red Raider Club luncheon is the next milepost for me.
And it is for a lot of people, and it signifies a lot because it's so consistent. But I think mine is the 1:00 press conference on Monday before the first game. I think when we sit down and we're talking about ACU, we're talking about what's happened up to that point from the last time we talked to him during summer or whatever. But it's for real from that day on. It's I mean, you are who you are, and that once a game starts, you've got to get better each and every day in practice and each game. But that's the day to me that it's here. I mean, it is here.
Mine's kind of similar to Craig. but it's a little bit earlier than the 1 o'clock press conference. It's the Monday when the alarm goes off that day, because then it's game week.
Yeah.
Up the spring practice, fall camp, a lot the same. There's a lot of same things going on, a lot of same conversations going on, a lot of the same repetition between spring and fall camp. Game week is different, and it starts Monday when you get up that day. Yeah. Because that day, okay, what do I got to do before Monday for game day? What do I got to do for Tuesday for game day? And, that's when the pattern kicks in for that week.
I think that nobody that's a fan, a true Red Raider fan, can deny the fact that if you've ever been to one of those Red Raider Club kickoff luncheons,
oh man,
that's when the juices start flowing.
Yeah, if you're not fired up after that, then
I agree with you.
I cannot help you. Yeah. I cannot help you.
Yeah, it starts when you walk in there and that 3/4 of the band is in there playing and you can't hear yourself think. And, it's just, you feel, that extra oomph in your step, and it's time.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's game on. It's here we go. It's all those things. It's like we're ready to hit it and get it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it'll be here before you know it. It's starting today.
Right.
Starting today.
So if you're asking for the when what's the next one? So your next milepost isn't until game week, right, Jeff?
Correct.
Okay. And Craig's is
the Monday.
Yeah, mine's the kickoff luncheon. Yeah. Yeah. I've been going to that thing for forever and a day. Back when they would install the. This is before the Red Raider Club was part of the university. When they would install the
new officers.
The new officers, and they'd have the new president would have a red coat, and I always thought that was really cool. And they had the guys up there, and of course it was just a little bit different time, but I thought that was.
I need that jacket.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. My business card. Thank you. Let me know how I can help.
I there's a lot of things that I can't just overcome, and that's one of them right there. When Coach Mcuire and I had our first conversation, but. Anyway,
introductory press conference. He's done the media. He's done all the fans.
And he met me.
Walking over to talk to the rest of the media that we've all been waiting for. And Chuck has to get complimented on his jacket.
Well, Joey Mcuire is a fan of Sport Coats. We've learned that, and
big time.
Big time.
Yeah.
And he is next level stuff. With what he's done. So. It's really impressive.
Yeah, I would never apologize for something like that.
Yeah.
That audio supplied by your counterpart, David Collier.
Yeah, David Collier he's constantly stalking me, looking for me, looking.
He was taking a video of the coach, and you talked to him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you got to do what you got to do. You know,
constantly stalking. Let's see. Good morning, guys. The next one for me is getting the beast ready to go for the tailgate. That's from the Home Finder. Okay, so we've got that going.
It could be when you go to the grocery store to get the meat for
tailgate. And there's a lot of them that start that tailgating process long before Saturday morning of the game.
Right, you got to practice, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And remember, we only get 7 of these, so you've got to be really, really, really good with your 7.
Remember when we only got 6 of them?
Yeah,
those were fun.
It is the morning drive this morning here on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3 and Double T 97.3.com. Good morning.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Double T 97.3 presents the Morning Drive Power Hour. The Power Hour is presented by Service Compression. Committed to service, advanced technology, and field-proven compression expertise in the oil field. See them at servicecompression.com.
8:02 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Good morning with Craig Wells, who's in for Jamie Lent this morning, and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. It's great to have you with us today here on the Morning Drive. Somebody says this off the Yates Flooring Center chat line with regard to Texas Tech's top 25 ranking would be at least 10, if not 8 or 9 if Sorsby were here. There are other teams ahead of Tech with new quarterbacks. Alabama has an unknown. Well, right now, Alabama's only one ahead of you.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe so, but I think as the, quote, newcomer to the party, for you to be where you are, I think is still, I mean, it's impressive.
It's real impressive.
You know,
the first time it's ever happened. I have a little quiz for you, Chuck.
Okay.
I'm going to give you 3 non-conference games of a team for the next 3 years, and you tell me who you think that team is and what you think about the non-conference schedule. Okay, year 26, North Texas, Howard, and Western Kentucky. 27, Kennesaw State, Indiana State, UMass. 28, Austin Peay, Eastern Michigan, and Miami of Ohio. 29, Ball State, Eastern Illinois, and Western Kentucky.
Is it Alabama?
No.
Ohio State?
No.
Oregon?
No.
Georgia?
No.
Okay.
The defending national
Indiana?
champion. Yeah.
No.
I mean, don't talk to me about our schedule. If your defending national champion is getting props and they're having that kind of schedule and non-conference, then I don't think you. How can anybody say anything about anybody's non-conference schedule?
I just think we're being looked at a little bit differently.
No doubt.
In that, you know, we're all of a sudden the pretty girl that. We're that seventh grade girl when you looked at her in seventh grade and she had the squirrely glasses and the bad hair and, you know, and hadn't developed yet, and then she gets to be a sophomore in college and I'm like, woo.
Yeah, where'd that come from?
Where'd that come from? You know, and you know, and I think they don't respect the process that we've gone through, and meanwhile, Indiana's done the same damn thing.
Yeah, exactly.
But they haven't been as public.
Yeah, and they're in the Big Ten.
And they're in the Big Ten, and we've been a little bit more public.
Yeah, but I just, I wish it would, with the SEC going to 9 conference games, I wish it would be somewhere along, even in a gentleman's agreement, and I realize things happen and somebody has to schedule or reschedule or something, but that everybody had at least one of their non-conference games a P4 team.
Yeah, and I think when you get to 16 or 24 or whatever it ends up being in terms of teams in the college football playoff, I think you'll see some of that.
Yeah.
And I think you'll also see less of these made for TV, non-home, neutral site games.
Yeah.
And because all these schools, us included, have spent $1 billion on their stadium, and these home games are precious.
Yeah.
And they should be looked at that way. And I wish basketball could get to more of the looking at it like that, but basketball's always done this.
Yeah.
I mean, for a long time.
And I bring this up, Chuck, to get to my question. Your thoughts on USC and Notre Dame starting that back up?
I love it.
And Texas Tech and USC apparently not going to be able to work out a schedule.
Yeah, I mean it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'd rather us be worried about playing Texas or Texas A&M.
Yeah,
that's who we should be playing.
I totally agree.
I mean,
with that.
we should USC and Notre Dame should play.
Yeah,
that is as old as the hills, right?
Right.
Just like us and A&M and us in Texas.
Yep.
And we should play there, and they should play here. I mean, It should be tit for tat, or don't play at all. I think it loses its luster when you go play in Dallas or play in Houston or something like that.
Yeah.
I'll be interested to see how long they can actually keep the game in Dallas between Oklahoma and Texas.
Yeah. Yeah.
Red River rivalry or whatever they want to call it today. Because at some point in time, both of those schools are going to go, man, we can make a hell of a lot more money if we just played at home and home.
And, the value to Oklahoma was always, when you looked at their roster, there was 45 kids from Texas. And that just helped your case a lot.
Well, now everybody's got 45
that's
kids.
That's right.
And
Texas. And you may get them year 2 instead of year 1. I'm all for the idea, and I saw this floated the other day. The 4 P4 schools in Texas, A&M, Texas, Texas Tech, and SMU, play each other at least once on a rotation basis, and then there are 2 other non-conference games be a Texas school. Everybody has to play somebody in Texas for all 3 games every year, and you put it on a rotating basis. Stephen F. may play Texas 1 year, A&M.
Yeah, I don't think Stephen F. should be in this mix.
Well, if you're non-conference, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I mean, keep that money in Texas.
No, I get it, but I mean, I want to play real games.
Well, I know, but you're not going to. I just want to play one. I'll start with one.
Okay.
One real game,
Right.
A&M or Texas or SMU.
Right. I'm with you. I'm with you on
and
that.
then the other 2, I'll go with the.
I mean, we shouldn't be. I mean, Abilene Christian. Come on. I mean,
but it is what it is.
I know.
It's not going to change.
I know. When we're playing, I mean,
really I'd love to play Notre Dame, A&M, and
really the
Texas
team,
every year.
Really, the team we got no business playing is Sam Houston State. That's really the team we got no business playing. I mean, at least we're not playing Incarnate Word. I mean, we saved that for basketball.
Sam Houston State, I think, might be the last team to play in the finals of their division.
Okay.
For the championship.
Okay.
But the last 2-3 years, they have not been very good.
Yeah. I mean,
not very good.
Yeah. So, all right, we'll get some thoughts from your starting quarterback, Will Hammond, next here this morning on the morning drive. Somebody says Stephen F. would be better than ACU. The 9 conference games for the SEC is going to be a huge wake-up call. Yep. That'll do.
And I'm glad they're doing it. I am. I'm real glad they're doing it.
Right. So, we'll see.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet973.com.